It's not on yet.
Okay.
You're live now.
Hey, what's up, Facebook? Welcome, Talk Recovery here. You're in studio with us, so stay on board. We got personal stories coming up.
Francis.
And Francis.
Johann.
Johann, I thought so. Johann.
He's not even filming anymore.
I'm filming. You're on.
Johann's over there. She's going to share her story. And Giuseppe's behind
I'm the cameraman.
the camera, the keyboard,
The keyboard.
the mic.
The
Nails
mic.
are finished now. He's ready to work.
Okay, microphones are going on in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Microphones.
And welcome back to Talk Recovery, Vancouver Co-op Radio, CFRO 100.5 FM. Thanks for tuning in, Facebook, and all our listeners every week, Thursday at noon, Talk Recovery. And every show, halfway through, we get involved with a personal story. And today we have Johann coming in with us. So let's take it over back to Francis.
Thanks, Darren. So today we get to talk recovery with Johann H., a woman and a mother in long-term recovery. Just celebrated a little birthday the other day, and so we've asked her to be on the show and tell us a little bit of her story. What milestone did you just celebrate?
I just took my 2 years.
2 years.
Woo! Yeah.
Clapping all by myself here. That's all
I'm
right.
holding
No
the camera.
worries. Thank you, everybody. Okay. So, 2 years, and you shared your story at a meeting that I recently went to. So, you're obviously
Yes.
part of a 12-step fellowship. So, tell me a little bit about your story. When did you first start to sort of like struggle with drugs and alcohol?
Yeah. So I basically at 38 years old. Yeah.
Like, you didn't try it until 38 years old?
I didn't really have a problem with drugs or alcohol. I experimented like most teenagers do, and smoked pot in school, and I didn't like it. Like I didn't like feeling out of control, actually, and was a real academic and an overachiever. Kept to myself, and really didn't have a problem. But there were other issues. Again, drugs is a symptom of, right? And at 38, I found myself with a 3-year-old. Like, I decided to, I was with my partner, and we decided to have a baby, and that didn't work out. And I met a man who presented me with my DOC, and I wanted him to like me. And so I tried it, and it took me.
And so for those not in the know, what is a DOC?
A drug of choice.
Okay.
Yes. And this particular drug, like anybody would be addicted to this drug, right? But I thought I could be a social user. Like the denial and the delusion. And basically from 2003 to current, I guess you could say, of like where I was introduced to Narcotics Anonymous, attended 6 treatment centers, would have years clean, relapse. Like, I've probably taken over 100 white fobs. I would lose everything. I would start over. I would have my son. I would lose my son. Like a lot of pain, a lot of suffering. I would relocate geographically. And each time I felt that because I keep saying the word I, which today is we. I believed that because I made the choice to pick up that drug for selfish reasons, that I was the one to stop it. And that's why I've never been successful up until now, I would say.
How were you able to keep going? And 100 white fobs, there's people that won't even take, it becomes a thing. Like they just get so ashamed that they can't quit or whatever. Like, how were you able to just keep going?
By the grace of my higher power, tenacity. So
Just like won't give up.
Won't never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. And there is actually no one in my family that has addiction. There's behaviors, definitely behaviors. I was able to come back each time.
Do you believe that like a part of that is that you like internally, this core belief is that like you deserve to be like happy or clean or healthy, or do you think there's a core belief of like what you deserve?
No, it was about this is wrong. Because I had lived all those years without drugs, clearly I knew that having this euphoric experience, that it was short-lived, that it cost a lot of money, and that it was taking everything was not normal. So
Right.
that was very logistically, like it was clear to me, okay? And that was what I wanted to stop. The consequences, wanted to stop. So there was all that. It was very clear to me.
Yeah, but you know what? I mean, it's kind of a great illustration of addiction because
Yes.
people think that it's a choice, and they just think like, you just stop, just don't do it.
Right.
But here is somebody that made it to almost 40 years old and knows the difference between right and wrong, but is powerless against that choice. So that's really like a huge lesson to be able to share.
Exactly. And that's exactly it. And so for years, being never really feeling like I grew up at a young age, and I've heard this in the rooms quite often, feeling disconnected from my nuclear family. Like I was convinced I was adopted, and my mother would say to me, "Geez, Joanne, like take a look in the mirror. Like we're two peas in a pod, and like we're just, and just like not feeling connected. Like I just don't fit in here. I'm different from the rest of you, and always looking at the differences and feeling like that emptiness inside, not feeling worthwhile." I was blessed with making friends easy, but not knowing how to maintain friendships. Like I didn't have a boyfriend until I was 19. Like just really feeling awkward in my own skin. And I carried that along, and it's only actually till recent that I'm becoming more comfortable in my womanhood, and by the way, for women out there, like with each decade, it just happens naturally, by the way. Like I'm now 52, and oh my God, it's just a beautiful thing. Like I care less about what people think.
Okay, I didn't know what we were talking about there.
Okay, so anyway, it's just a beautiful thing. So where was I going with that? Yeah, so like those are the symptoms of, right? Like that disconnection, right? And how do you maintain friendships and letting people in, and like if people really knew me, like if people knew me, they're not going to like me.
So you're 52 years old,
Yes.
and you have 2 years of sobriety. So
Yes.
So there's some woman, feeling, like she's finished at 35 or finished at 45, or do you know what I mean? Like I've seen women come into sobriety and recovery at 75.
Yes.
Yes, we both knew a woman who came in at 75, and like, is it ever too late?
Never too late. Never too late.
Do you feel like
Life has just begun, man. Like these next 40 years are like the best. Like I am going to the World Convention. My son and I have this beautiful relationship. I'm then going home to Montreal. I haven't been home in 28 years. Oh my God. And I'm like I'm renting a car, no hotels. I'm hitting up all my friends from school. Like I'm going back to the house I grew up in. Like my spirit is just calling me to like go back to my roots. Like wow, right? Like the gifts of recovery. I'm headed to the Canadian convention in PEI. I'm booked for Mexico. Like these are the things that I used to do before I picked up that drug that took me, right? Like these were the things that I cared about, and like it's about that self-acceptance. That's the part that has been missing for me. And today I choose to give myself permission to allow that, right? Like, my mouth is so dry. Like, my higher power wants me to shine, and I'm going to shine.
Yeah, and it's a huge gift to shine for other people, because it really does give that hope. Like just FYI or whatever, Johann just said yes to being a guest 2 days ago. So it's like, hey, like, what you doing Thursday? Say yes, and you're like, yes. I'm like, okay.
Because I can't say no to you, Francis.
I know, right? Because I would just give you dirty looks in meetings. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm kidding. But a big part of your story too is being a mother in recovery, and
yes.
and something you shared recently about how you struggled with relapse. Can you share a little bit about that around being a mother?
Yes. So I had 4 years clean, and I was living in Kelowna, and my son wanted me to come back to the island, which is where I have spent 22 years, and so I did. And I had always put my family ahead of recovery. And anyway, I went back, and there were big changes. So like a new job, a new place to live, reforming that relationship with my son, reconnecting with the fellowship on the island. Like those are things that I don't take for granted anymore, right? Like, it takes a lot of work, and it requires patience. And anyway, I chose. There's the thing. I chose to pick up. And this disease is so progressive that it, I'm just grateful to be here today. And so I ended up coming back to treatment, and I said to my son, like, I told him the truth, what was happening, and he said, "Mom, you do what you have to do." And I said, "Son, this time I need to put recovery ahead of you," and it's been the best thing ever. And in doing so, our relationship has improved. Like, that has been the key. Like, that's the paradox of this whole thing, right? As soon as you let go, it's like you receive, right, these gifts, and relationships improve. Because when I'm happy and I'm grounded, my relationships, like, are amazing, So, today, I don't have any regrets anymore about the time I've lost from those toddler years. I've moved through that, and I did get some outside help with that. Now I have a young, beautiful man who chooses to not drink or smoke or do drugs and not even swear. And that's freaking amazing. And knows that there's a solution around drugs, and that there's a responsibility around that too. And that chooses to call me when he has things on his mind. And I'm like a confidant. And it's not how I saw the relationship going down, but you know what? Like, it's really cool, and I'm really grateful for that. And so I've let go of how it's supposed to look, and that's been like just the biggest gift ever.
I think that the thing that you shared about we give water here. Yeah, but like the thing that you shared that really struck me was just the shame that would come around, and I know that so many women struggle with shame and motherhood and addiction, and I do think that if we think of it as a disease, as something that's not to be shameful but is to be addressed, it really gives us that freedom. And like you're a part of the community, like you're of service. Like if I ask you something, you say yes. Like, and I love people like that. So it's great to have you on the show today. And your son is watching, and there's probably
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I know that if my mom was a guest on a friggin' like radio show, Facebook Live, I think I'd watch, right? So like. And or maybe
He's
there's
probably blocked me, but that's okay. That's okay.
but and like you're even when you go to 6 treatment centers, right? You end up connecting with a lot of women in recovery, and I noticed that a big part of what you do on social media and that sort of thing is try to inspire other women. So just in closing here, is there anything that you would like to say to like somebody that might be out there that might be struggling, that might feel like giving up or feel like it's too late or it doesn't really matter or they don't really matter or that sort of thing? Anything, final words here? No pressure.
Wow. Well, I would say don't give up, and it's not about when this happens, when I have the time. It's about now. Like, now is the moment of your life. You don't have to hit a bottom. It's now. Everything can change in this moment, and there are people everywhere who understand exactly what's going on. And I'm one of them. So don't give up. You can do this. This is a disease. It is not a moral failing.
Sweet. Thank you so much for being on Talk Recovery today, Joanne.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Darren, for coming back from England. Thank you, Giuseppe, for getting your nails done today. Check out that photo. And yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, you never know. Sometimes I know everything about the person coming in to share their story. Sometimes you know a little bit, and sometimes you've never seen the person in your life. And I've never met Joanne before, and so it's like there's a lot of me like just curious. It's like, what's her story? What's this all about? And it never ceases to fail. Every personal story comes with a like, oh, good for you. Like that's amazing, And I had another one of those feelings as you shared today. Just that. I don't know, I guess you can call it some stubbornness or the desire to overachieve, which can be a great asset and a great defect as well. And I think it's like, you don't get to lose who you are and who you've been for so long in your life. It's just, you get to add a little bit more dimension to who you were and add parts that were missing. And it's just a great story to hear, like, someone clean up in the latter part of life, and still come in with the same amount of insight and sort of openness that's required to learn about yourself. So thanks for coming in. That was awesome. Probably a good little segue into our next song. I think we're doing Grand Funk Railroad.
No,
Some Kind of Wonderful. Yes, we are. We're doing some Grand Funk Railroad. See, for something told me, I knew you were going to like this song. I just sensed it. So this is for Joanne. Grand Funk Railroad, Some Kind of Wonderful.
Okay, that was like the best ever.
Wow, this is a moment, man.
Too good.